In the Zelda series, combat has always been an important element, especially in the 3D games. There is even a special button there, the Z targeting. And the most recent entry into the series introduced some extremely powerful enemies to make the new open world a real challenge. So today, we're going to take a look at the strongest ones. Number 8. In the game, there are some enemies that try to surprise you. For example, the Octoroks, but those are rather weak. However, there's one enemy that pops out of nowhere time and time again that can easily kill you. The Yiga foot soldiers who are always hunting Link down, attempting to assassinate him and stop his quest to defeat Calamity Ganon. They're either disguised as travelers or appear out of thin air to ambush you. They attack by teleporting around the area and shooting you with a duplex bow or hitting you with a vicious sickle or demon carver. Now, they may look weak because they're essentially a knockoff of a ninja mixed with Slenderman, but don't be fooled, my young child, because they are extremely fast and can surprise you easily. They appear out of nowhere and dash at you or fire 2 arrows at once. Especially in hectic situations or when you're fighting other enemies as well, this one can be a pain, and they can even snipe you out of nowhere. Besides that, they also do a surprisingly high amount of damage, so it's certainly an enemy to look out for. Their high speed and disorientating teleport ability can be your end. Number 7. Now, more conventional weapons like bows and swords are extremely good for taking out foes. However, in the world of Zelda, magic also plays a role. And there's one magic user in the game that is certainly the most powerful, the Wizzrobe. They are found throughout Hyrule, skipping about in the air and singing to themselves. Just like the Yiga foot soldier, they can surprise you, because they can become invisible and reappear before attacking you. With their magic rods, they can summon other enemies, create storms, and shoot balls of elemental hell at you. The reason why these enemies are so strong is because they require you to pay attention and focus on them. Otherwise, they will swarm the area with enemies and create storms that will make the game a lot more hectic. Besides that, the elemental effects that they bring to the table can ruin your plans as well. Because every time you are hit by lightning, for example, you will drop your weapons. Every time they appear, you have to hit them or they will throw more stuff at you, which will become extremely overwhelming at some point. The more they cast, the bigger the problem gets. That's why they are so strong. Number 6. Now, besides the foot soldier, the Yigas have more warriors in their little army, and the Blademaster is certainly the strongest one. They attack with wind cleavers that send blasts of air at long distances, so they even have a ranged option. Another thing they do is create fissures that produce updrafts that Link can use to glide before a stone pillar emerges from them. Using that opportunity is your chance of attacking them, because their strikes are absolutely ridiculous. In the earlier parts of the game, they can take you out with one well-placed hit. And even later on in the game, they can still one-hit you or close to it. If their fissure attack wasn't in the game, then this enemy would be way higher up the list. Because in terms of hand-to-hand combat, they are extremely good. You can stun them by shooting them in the head or hitting them repeatedly, but even then they will recover quite quickly. And if you're able to corner it or get a good combo of hits in, then they will teleport away, getting rid of possibly a good scenario for the player. Overall, they're quite a pain to deal with. Number 5. When you're running around in the world of Hyrule, there are a lot of things that can end your adventure, and one of the most dangerous is the Guardian Stalkers. They have a large amount of health at 1500 and can fire powerful blue laser beams from their eyes that can deal 51 points of damage. If a target is too close to them, they will attempt to distance themselves in order to fire their laser. Otherwise, they will relentlessly pursue the target until they lose track of it. These can be extremely difficult to take out, especially for new players because they are very fast. And the closer you are to them, the harder it becomes to dodge the laser. Besides that, if you don't know how to stun them, they will keep on firing as much as they can. And even if you try to flee, they will try to snipe you from a distance. These are for sure the tanks of Hyrule, roaming around and completely destroying everything that comes close. One of the best ways to take them out is by deflecting their lasers back at their eye with the perfect guard. However, this is quite hard to pull off, so most people tend to cut off their legs so they can't move around anymore. As soon as you know this trick, they become a lot easier to deal with. But still, if you make one mistake, they can wipe you off the face of the planet. Number 4. There's one enemy in the world of Hyrule that most of us never expected. A monster made out of stone, the stone Talus. However, the normal version is quite weak, but this can't be said about its ice-cold relative, the Frost Talus. It's coated in ice and will freeze you upon contact, making it impossible for Link to climb it normally. However, with the Snowquill set that has been twice enhanced by the Great Fairy, it's possible. And another option is using fire arrows. Normally these enemies aren't that hard. You run around them, climb on the back, and beat the living hell out of the ore deposit. However, this time around it becomes a lot harder, and mostly dealing damage isn't as easy now. The added elemental damage and effect that it has now increases the difficulty quite a lot, and even leaves you open for a second attack because you are frozen in place. Even if it throws its rock arm at you and lands somewhere close, the frost effect is applied, so it's like an ice bomb now. So, a quite easy enemy to defeat all of a sudden becomes a big problem, because now you can't really climb onto it. Number 3. Now, clearly the normal stone Talus is easy, and the frozen version can be quite a challenge. However, there's one other version that beats them all. The Igneo Talus Titan. This is the fire type, but it's significantly larger and much stronger than its common counterpart. Its attacks are the same as the other versions, but this time imbued with the power of fire, increasing its damage. The location of this enemy also makes it extra difficult to deal with, because he is placed in the middle of a lava lake. Just like the ice version, getting to its ore deposit is really difficult. As soon as you step on it, you will be on fire. However, there are other added bonuses, like the increased damage and health boost that it got, making it an even bigger challenge. Number 2. Now, besides these big guardians, there's also a smaller one that works a bit different and is only really seen in special shrines. The level 4 Guardian Scout. They're equipped with a mixture of guardian weapons like axes, swords, shields, and spears. They can also use their laser to repeatedly burn the ground surrounding them, sending Link back if struck. However, this creates an updraft that allows Link to use the paraglider to reach them. When they're almost defeated, they will charge a strong laser attack that cannot be interrupted. And every now and then in battle, they will shoot short laser bursts. They can even focus all their power and do some sort of spin attack charge. They have a lot of different attacks, which will surprise and maybe even confuse new players. They are a test of strength, so they're essentially a combat trial, which you can notice right away. They can be ruthless, and the different attacks require you to focus and be ready for anything. The weapons that they use are also among the strongest in the entire game, so if you get hit, you will lose quite a lot of hearts. Now, in my own playthrough, I took on this death machine when I had 4 hearts, and I hadn't really beaten any divine beasts, like, at all. I think you can already imagine how that went. Yeah, seems about right. So I found out the hard way that this enemy is ridiculously powerful, but I did beat it in the end. Hey! Number 1. Now for the strongest and most powerful being in the land of Hyrule. A beast that will turn you from a little kid into an actual adult. The almighty Lionel, the being that rivals all. They can wield a range of different weapons like a sword and shield combo, a spear or a crusher. All of which have different fighting styles. So if you only encountered ones with crushers and tried to take on a Lionel with a spear, you will be in for a surprise. They also wield a bow that is equipped with either regular or special arrows and have a variety of attacks, both ranged and melee, such as shooting fireballs, body slamming and dashing, and a whole lot more. Now, these enemies are a completely different story compared to all the others. They have a lot more health, are extremely fast and deal an insane amount of damage. And the only effective way of defeating them is by becoming an absolute master in perfect guarding and dodging. Besides that, there isn't really any cheat or shady tricks to defeat them, because they will literally outperform you in every way possible. Trying to shoot them with arrows from an unreachable spot? Cute! You will get 5 in return, all imbued with electrical powers. Their AI is quite good, so you can't fool them that easily. This combined with all the different attacks and its insane strength makes them a real challenge. And for sure, the most difficult enemy in the world of Hyrule to deal with.
Oh, hello there. My name is Johnny the Kid, and I'm standing in for Wily. If you want to, you can watch more videos by clicking the annotations, or just clicking all the little things on the screen. Just click them, please. I'm begging you.